Hi, my name is Mark. I'm here to show you how to put together your new portable PA system. Your PA system consists of two portable loudspeakers. One here I already have on the stand, and the other one we're going to set up shortly. It also consists of this small rack mount unit. So when you first are setting up your system for a portable event, you want to locate a table for this guy, put it on a table so it's not on the floor. The wireless signal will travel better and further if it's on a slightly elevated table surface. So it's in this rugged anvil hard case. So there's two little flip latches here that we can just remove the case. And what we find inside is we have two wireless receivers that have already been pre-programmed for this handheld mic and also this lapel, which I put right here. So these are the two receivers for these two transmitters, and we'll go over how they work. So you take this first cover off, you take the back cover off, and inside the back cover are going to be two cables, one for each of the microphones. They're already connected, so you can just pull them out, and then we'll show you how to put those together on the speakers. Also on the back there's a rack-mounted power supply, so you can plug in the main cord to any power that's available in the building, and then the speakers can either plug into this or you can plug them into any power wherever they're located. So let's get started and put together the wiring. So the front of this, I just wanted to point out, there is a power on and off of these, which you can turn on, but the settings and the set mode don't need to be touched. These have already been paired with the specific microphones. If these get unpaired or if this has changed in any way, you want to make sure the group number and the channel number are the same as the group number and channel number that show up on the actual microphone. So now we're going to put together the loudspeaker stands. They come in this bag, and they come out looking like this. There's a small little latch you pull open to release the legs, and you can just manually pull the legs apart, and then you can adjust the base. And the base is always going to be more stable the wider the footprint is, but if you don't have that much space, you can make it whatever you wish, and you lock that in place, and that is how you set the legs. The next step is to put the loudspeaker on top of the stand. Even if this is not the exact height that you want the loudspeaker to be at, we'll get to adjusting that later. Now if we look at the bottom of this loudspeaker, it has two holes. The one furthest away from the grill is just a straight up and down hole, so it's going to orient the loudspeaker perpendicular to the floor. If you have a really high placement of your loudspeaker and if the stand's fully extended, you might want to use this hole, which has a 5-degree tilt, so this loudspeaker will actually tilt down. So we're going to grab this loudspeaker, we'll put it in here. It sits like that. And if I want to raise it any higher, there's another latch right here. There's already a pneumatic compression, so you don't have to pull the speaker out. So when you get to the place you want it, you can lock it. When you want to take it down, you can just unlock it and push it down. And that's how you adjust the loudspeaker. So now we're going to get to the wiring part. So as I mentioned before, there's two XLR cables that are coming from the mics. They're going to go to the first speaker and daisy chain out. So if you look at the back of this loudspeaker, you've got mic line in A and mic line in B. So we're just going to plug, it doesn't matter the order, but we'll plug mic line in A into A and the second receiver into B. And here's the volume controls for each. So we always like to start off in the off position and turn those all the way down. And then we're going to get a third XLR cable, and we're going to run that cable from this output called A, B, and C. We're going to run that to the next loudspeaker. I'll come over here, and we're going to plug it right into input A. So the next part is we're going to power up our loudspeakers. And so it comes with a blue power cord with a little locking latch here. Just going to plug that right in and turn the power on. And again, it's always good to have the volume knobs all down when you first start up. Once the loudspeaker powers up, a little on-screen display will show up. There's nothing on this on-screen display menu that you should change. unless you know what you're doing, there is a EQ setting. So here's the enter button, and you can put in EQs for high, mid, lows, if you know the frequencies you want to attenuate or boost. But I don't recommend doing that unless you know how to EQ a PA system. So the standard flat EQ is what is most typically used. So we've got our 2 microphones plugged in. We've got our second loudspeaker connected. There's also the stereo input C. So if you have music from an iPod or your phone that you want to play, you can plug that into this jack. And the volume for C is right here. So we can turn up and down volume for that music. So I'm going to grab one of my microphones. And on the microphone itself, the battery is just inside this case. It's a 9-volt battery, which can be replaced with rechargeable ones or just standard 9-volt. And then you can turn on the mic here. And once it's green, you should be good to go. So you can see right now I've got signal already bouncing here on gain number A. So I'm going to turn that up. And now going through this first speaker. And if we look at this other speaker, we can see that signal is also coming into it. So we're going to turn it up, 1, 2. And so now it's coming out of that speaker as well. And then the volume adjustment is just right here on the back of the speaker. Once you set it, you shouldn't have to mess with it. So 1, 2, you can see it gets quite loud. So I'm going to turn this one off. So that was the handheld. Now let's look at the lavalier. The lavalier also takes a 9-volt battery, and its power button is right there. I've turned it on. You can put this on your belt, in your pocket, or anywhere on your clothing. You just don't want to hide this antenna in anything that's metallic or would block the RF signal. So you can see I've got the signal coming into gain B. These microphones, the lavaliers versus the handheld, the lavaliers are much more prone to feedback. So you want to be careful not to get close to the loudspeaker, the presenter, when they're using this. And be careful when you turn on the volume, because if you walk in front of that loudspeaker, it will feedback. So you adjust the volumes individually and make sure that these loudspeakers are oriented just in front of the presenter, so that they're not in line or behind the presenter, and you adjust the volume accordingly. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it in a nutshell.